And lest we get on our high horse and think this is unique to some other place, remember that during the Crusades and the Inquisition, people committed terrible deeds in the name of Christ.
President Obama talked about ISIS at the annual National Prayer Breakfast Thursday. But, and this is the part a lot of critics are mad about, he compared the group's actions of terror to the Crusades and Christianity, among other analogies.
In our home country, slavery and Jim Crow all too often was justified in the name of Christ.
Some viewed the comparison as an attack on Christianity.
We've evolved, and this Islamic jihadist movement is regressing. So the president could just say that, but instead, he always has to lecture us. It's something in his DNA.
Conservative commentator Michelle Malkin's interpretation that the president essentially blamed the Crusades for ISIS brutality. To be clear, though, he wasn't blaming, but rather appearing to draw a comparison between horrific events whose perpetrators often claimed a divine mandate. So there was definitely an attempt to draw a comparison, though his stated point was that no God condones terror. The more interesting takeaway, though, might be that others took his comments Thursday to mean that he was finally linking ISIS to Islam. For a little context, the White House has been catching a lot of heat lately for avoiding the terms Islamic terrorist or Islamic radicals when referring to ISIS. In January, Senator Lindsey Graham had this to say on The Hugh Hewitt Show.
When I hear the President of the United States and his chief spokesperson failing to admit that we're in a religious war, it really bothers me.
To which Obama explained to CNN,
"It is absolutely true that I reject a notion that somehow that creates a religious war, because the overwhelming majority of Muslims reject that interpretation of Islam. They don't even recognize it as being Islam."
And for as dissatisfied as many Republicans seem on Obama's stance, the Jerusalem Post notes George W. Bush, Obama's Republican predecessor, also never characterized the fight in religious terms. He instead used the term war on terrorism.
The terrorist practice a fringe form of Islamic extremism that has been rejected by Muslim scholars and the vast majority of Muslim clerics. A fringe movement that perverts the peaceful teaching of Islam.
The White House hasn't yet commented on the backlash following Thursday's speech. For Newsy, I'm Jasmine Bailey.